sure to check out Agelessgeeks for your figures and collectibles. So what is going on, my fellow collectors? How is everybody doing today? Daredevil18 here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Revoltech Amazing Yamaguchi Bleeding Edge Armor Iron Man. So let's get into it right away and take a quick look at the box. And I feel like this review is going to be really long because he has a ton of awesome accessories. So we do of course get the basic looking style box when it comes to the Amazing Yamaguchi line. So we do get the one right there on the front of the box. On the top does say Figure Complex Amazing Yamaguchi powered by Revoltech. We do get a dope image of the Ironing Board Band figure. Says Iron Man, Bleeding Edge Armor, and Marvel. And then here is the bottom of the box. We do get the barcode of Blood Plus, so nobody cares about. Then we do get a cool comic book image of some of the Avengers there. Here is the top of the box. And then the one side of it with some more images of the figure there, looking pretty cool. Then here's the other side of the box with a sick image of the Iron Man figure. And then the back of it does show a bunch of really dope poses you can get the figure into, along with all of the accessories. But anyway, that is the packaging. Let's get this figure, but to take a closer look at this Iron Man figure that looks like it might be one of the coolest, funnest Iron Man figures that I have ever seen. And for those of you who are curious, like myself, to see the backdrop and what's on the sides of the box. So on the sides of the box is Iron Man on the top, and then we do get a dope comic book image of Iron Man on the bottom. Then the other side says Boom on the top, and then another cool comic book image. And then the backdrop here is replicating Tony's shop, I believe it's called, or where he works. And really love this backdrop they included because you could pose your figure in front of it. So really cool idea by Revoltech on that one. But anyway, let's continue on, shall we? Alrighty, to get a closer detailed look, and Revoltech did a kick-ass job with this Iron Man. There is one major issue, and that is there is some paint flaws. Either some stuff isn't fully painted as red, so the other red doesn't look as dark as some red. Example right here. This piece over here, the red, is that nice red color. Then over here, they didn't put enough of that red paint, so it's two different color reds. Same with on these shoulder pad pieces. Right here, they added enough of that red, but over here, they did not. And it's like that in a lot of spots. Even on these wrist pieces, a bunch of red. Well, the red is painted correctly on the left side, the right side it is not. So a lot of like off red coloring on this figure. Even on the bicep right here, it's a little off. On the back, these pieces. So there is some paint issues with the red that I'm not too happy about. And I do have some black paint, like a paint line right above the mouth right there, which sucks. So there are some paint issues that you might have with your figure. I feel like that might be an issue with all the figures, or most of them. But besides that, there really is no other issues with this figure. They did a beautiful job with the sculpt detail all throughout the figure, and the paintwork is pretty clean for the most part, just like I mentioned before. Some red isn't fully painted, like how most of the red on the figure is. Now the head sculpt here I think looks great. I dig the faceplate and everything. I love the blue that they chose too, that baby blue. It actually gives it a look like it's glowing, so I really dig the way that turned out. And very clean paintwork, where the red meets the gold and where the blue meets the gold there as well. Just that issue with that little bit of black paint above the mouth area. And I like how they added like a black wash in the sculpted lines as well. I think that looks dope. I love the sculpt work on the neck. That looks pretty cool. And you can see all the blue like lights all throughout his armor. The arc reactor, of course, looks nice. And I really do love the red and gold paint. I think it turned out really nice on the figure. Just beautiful sculpt detail all throughout the torso and the back there. And they did actually update the shoulder joints. I'll go over that during the articulation, though. I really like what Revoltech did there. And you can hide the joints very well with the shoulder pad pieces there. The arms look pretty good. And then the lower legs also look great. Nice sculpt and paintwork, as you can see all throughout it. Very cool looking. The paint's nice and clean. It's just like, damn, man. I wish they fully painted those parts all red that were supposed to be painted that red color. And the paint looks really weird around this part right here. I don't know what it is. Like it's cracking or something. And the lower legs there, nice sculpt and paintwork. See more of the blue lighting there. And then for the feet, nice sculpt and paintwork once again. And then the bottom, we do get some sculpt work and some peg holes. But overall, Revoltech, I think, did a really nice job with this figure. Another thing, I feel like you might have to be cautious of paint rubs. So be cautious of that. But overall, I think they really did an excellent job with the figure. There's just some paint issues with it that I'm not too happy about. But other than that, I think the detail turned out really nice on this Bleeding Edge Armor Iron Man. But anyway, let's continue on. Moving on to the accessories, we get a bunch of really cool, fun accessories included with this bleeding edge armor. Iron Man. So first and foremost, what we do get, which we always get with a Revoltech figure, is their stand. So we do have the base with a bunch of peg holes on it. We do have the arm right here, and then the clamp. And then they also included 10 extra ball hinge joints, and these are the same joints as the wrist joints, and they're also the same joints for all these pieces here. So I really love that they included 10 extra ones. So we do get that, and it does suck we don't get an unmasked head, but I mean, there's so many cool accessories with the figure, I can't even complain about it. But we do also get a bunch of extra added pieces that you can connect to the figure, which look like pieces of his armor. So we do get 8 of these smaller pieces here, and all of them each have 2 ball hinge joints. There is a peg hole there and a peg hole there, of course, and we do get another one right there as well. And it does have some very nice sculpt detail on it, and the paintwork's nice and clean also. So we do get 8 of these, and you can add all different types of stuff to it and do really cool things with these accessories here. And then we do get 4 of these larger ones, which kind of look the same, just a little bit larger, and they each have a ball hinge on them as well. So we do have 1 and 2 peg holes on it, and it does have some very nice sculpt and paint detail also. So we do get 4 of those, and then we do get 4 of these little square pieces, and these have 5 peg holes on the top. Well, yeah, 1 that goes directly through in the middle, then you do have 4 on the bottom, and then 4 on the top right there. So you could do all types of different cool things with all of these accessories. So we do get all that stuff, and then we do get this little tool that always ends up breaking, but it's to help get the joints out, and you have to be extra gentle with this, because as you can see, it's leaving some stress marks on it, and it will eventually widen and not work anymore. So be careful when you do use that. So we do get that stuff, and then we also get 2 extra pieces, like when he's in the air taking flight, and you can put it on the back of the figure, which I will show you shortly, along with all of these accessories, how to use them and stuff. And then we do get those really cool weapons. I don't know what they're called. I'm not the biggest Iron Man fan, so I don't know the name of all of his weapons, but we get those laser beam type weapons. They're kind of like lightsabers, I guess, that come out of his wrist, and those are some of the coolest accessories. And then we do get 6 blast effects right there, and then we do get 6 rocket effects right there. So we do get these 2 right here, and they each have a ball hinge on them, and we do get some nice sculpt detail on it, and I do really dig the red paint, as I mentioned before. And these you could just peg on the back of the figure, so I'll show you what that looks like shortly. And then we do get 2 of these things here, and these are probably my favorite accessories with the figure. I just love the way these look here. It's a nice blue translucent plastic. It's more of a lighter blue or clearish, and then it gets to like a darker blue the more it goes to the edge right there. But I love the sculpt work up around here. Nice paint work, or where the blue meets the red right there, and then the red has some nice paint work as well. And these are very easy to swap out. I'll show you how to do that shortly as well. Also, then we do get 6 of these blast effects here, which the translucent plastic looks similar to these right here. It's that very light blue and then goes to a darker blue the more it goes towards the edge right there. And the peg is on an angle, as you can see there. So we do get 6 of those, and then we do get 6 of these rocket effects, which are some of my favorite accessories with the figure as well. But it has some beautiful sculpt and paint detail on it, as you can see the missile on the end right there. And then I do like the orange translucent plastic here, and it kind of blends to the clear. And then again, where it connects to the figure, it gets more into that orange type color, and it has some nice sculpt detail to it as well, and they each have that ball hinge on it also. And I'll show you how all these accessories look on the figure, along with how they work right now. And getting all these accessories on Iron Man is pretty simple. Might take a little bit of time, so you do have to be a bit patient. And he does have a few peg holes throughout him, so we do get 2 on the upper back, 1 in the lower back, which is meant for the stand. We do get 1 on each side of his forearms. Then we do get 1 around the knees right there, and then of course 1 on each foot on the bottom. So if you want to put the repulsor blasts in, or the flight pose blast, it is going to be on an angle, since the pegs are on an angle. So I guess you could pose it however you want. And the same thing for the open palm blast hands. They did put it on an angle, so when you put it in, it looks like he's shooting it like up. So that actually makes more sense than the feet there. But he also is included with these pieces here, and these are supposed to go back up here. So like when he's flying around, you could have them both on the back of the figure like that. And then all these pieces you can connect throughout the figure, and then connect these ones onto this one and do maybe something like this. And then you would connect this into the back one, so it looks like he's shooting all the missiles out like how it looks in the promo images. And you can also connect all of these, but put the repulsor blast in each one and then connect it to his forearm, so it also looks like how it does in the promo images as well. And then finally, for the wrist blades here, they are marked R and L. So this one is for the right arm, which I'm going to show you. So how you would remove that, you have to do that, and you have to remove this. Don't just rip it out. They made it like this. See how there's a hole right there? They made it like that, and I did actually break mine by accident because I thought they just ripped out, but they do not. So you do have to unpeg the wrist joint here, and you have to use the tool to try to get in there, and you have to do it easily. Don't just jab it right in there and try to take it out, because you're going to break this tool here, and it is a bit of a pain in the ass to do. Alright, so after you get that off, you pull the joint out, pull that off, take the right one, put that on. What I do is I put the joint back in the hand here, and it's easier to get this on here. So let's try to do this, even though I'll probably have to edit a little bit of this out. So after I edit out how long it took me to get that on, there you go. You have the cool wrist blade weapon that Iron Man has, which looks so awesome. And I'm pretty sure he uses this a lot with the bleeding edge armor, so a perfect accessory for this Iron Man figure. And I'll show you what these accessories look like on the figure right now quickly before we finish up with the accessories. And you could do some really dope stuff with these accessories here. Here's just one of the options, which looks sick as hell. As you can see, I used these armor type pieces and took the blast effects, put one in his palm and one in each one of those, so it looks like he's shooting out 4 different types of blast. Or you could do one of these on each arm and looks like he's shooting out 6 of them. So it's just endless display options with this Iron Man figure. Really love what they included. And then you could also do other stuff as well. Here is what he looks like with all the awesome missiles set up on him, and this is how I'm definitely going to have him displayed, because this is just too awesome of a pose not to display him in. So we do get all that awesome stuff, and then we finally get 8 alternate hands. And starting on the top right here, we do get a pair of fists, of course, which do come on the figure out of the packaging. And then we do get a pair of hands that kind of look like karate chibbity chop chop hands, but they're not. They're actually for when he's in flight, and we do have peg holes on the palms there. And then we do get another pair of fists, but these have peg holes on the top of the fingers right there, as you can see. And then finally we do get a pair of open palm repulsor blast type hands. And my main issue with these hands is the reds are a bit of a different color on certain hands like this. The left one looks good, that's how it's supposed to look, and then the right one, they didn't put enough paint on it, and it looks like these two don't have enough paint on it as well, so that is a bit disappointing. And they didn't paint the repulsor blast on the fists right there. I don't know if they're supposed to be painted or not, but I would think they would be blue or something like that. But all the hands do have some beautiful sculpt detail all throughout them, and I do really dig that red paint. I don't know how many times I said that, probably a few already, and they are very easy to swap out. But anyway, that is all the awesome, cool, fun accessories included with this Iron Man. Let's keep moving on with the rest of the review, shall we? Now for the height of Iron Man's bleeding edge armor to the very top of his helmet. It looks like he's about 6.5 inches tall. And then here he is compared to the Revoltech Amazing Yamaguchi Gambit, the Mezco 112 Netflix Vigilante Daredevil, the SH Figure Arts Mark 7 Iron Man, and the Infinity War War Machine. And then here he is compared to the Mafex comic version Spider-Man, the Revoltech Amazing Yamaguchi Venom, the SH Figure Arts Endgame Captain America, and the Infinity War Hulk. And then here he is compared to the SH Figure Arts Infinity War Black Widow, the Sage Mode Naruto, the Mafex Justice League Batman, and the Figma Black Swordsman Guts. And then here he is compared to the SH Figure Arts Awakened Warrior Super Saiyan Goku and the Mezco 112 Deadpool. Anyway, there's some quick comparisons. Let's keep moving on with the rest of the review. So now for the articulation, and this is where this figure really excels along with the accessories. So we do have two joints at the neck here. The upper neck joint, you could get Iron Man to look up pretty much all the way, so that is definitely good and good for flight poses. Doesn't really look down too much with the upper neck there. And you get just a tiny bit of pivot there, as you can see, and then it does swivel a little bit as well. The lower neck here goes forward about that much. Oh, actually goes forward more. So with both joints, you can almost get them to look all the way down. And then both joints going back, doesn't really go back too much more, but you can pretty much get them to look all the way up. You do get nice pivot at the lower neck, and this piece right here is a separate piece under the lower neck right there, and then it does swivel there as well. So you do get some very nice articulation at both those neck joints. Then we do get a point of articulation at the torso, the mid torso, or the abdomen, and then the waist there. So the mid torso here has some really nice movement. As you can see how far forward he moves. So nice forward movement and very nice back movement. So once again, good for flight poses. Pretty good pivot there, and then a little bit of swivel. And you might want to be careful because this piece looks like it rubs on the lower torso. I feel like it might rub some paint off over time. And then the waist here, very nice forward and back movement, beautiful forward and back movement, so you can get them to crunch forward extremely well, and then does go back very nice. Also, you do get, looks like, better pivot at the waist compared to the torso, and then it does swivel as well, so excellent movement at the waist and the torso there. Then the shoulder pad pieces are on a ball hinge, I believe, so you can move it all around, as you can see, and swivel it up and down and pivot, and you can hide the shoulder joints. And I like the updated shoulder joints. As you can see, it's a ball hinge, and then a ball peg is connected to the arm right there. So I hope Revoltech got rid of the double ball hinge, because those really weren't working out as well, and I love how much better the articulation works with these joints there. And then we do get the weird like side torso joints here, and it goes forward a lot and then shifts back a little bit. You see a tiny bit of a gap there. It doesn't really go up and down though, so it pretty much just shifts forward and back. Whoops, it got caught on something and now I can't move it back. Hold on 1 second. There we go. It got caught right here, so be careful of that. Now the arms here, you can get them almost all the way up, so that is definitely good. They do go up and down. We do have the swivel there where the arm connects to the joint, and you can move the joint all around since it's on a ball peg. Love the updated shoulder joint here on this Iron Man. Then we do get a single jointed elbow that bends in a little more than 90 degrees, so that's definitely good. The joint does swivel where it connects into the bicep, and I believe it's a ball peg where it connects into the forearm, but you can't really get that joint to move around in there unless mine are just stuck. I mean, you can get them to swivel, but you can't like move it all around, kind of like how this joint is, you know what I mean? These are separate pieces here, so they can swivel around. Then we do have a ball hinge on the wrist, so it does swivel and hinges back and forth. Now for the legs here, we do get the wacky Revoltech leg joints. We do have the ball peg that connects to the hip right there, so with that joint or the legs, you can kick them forward a little more than 90 degrees if you force it. Goes to the back a decent amount, but it does kick out to the side. And then let's see if you can Jean-Claude Van Damme it. And they actually updated or worked in the articulation better with these hip joints. You don't just have to use the angle to swivel as well to get the legs out 90 degrees, which is something I'm extremely happy about, as you can see right there. So I believe they updated those hip joints as well. Then we do get the angled hip swivel there, or upper thigh swivel, my bad. And then for the legs here, the knees are a single joint, and they do bend back all the way. I wish this was on a joint as well, because I don't like when it sticks out like that. Kind of like how the Batman figure was as well. It stuck out like that instead of most of their figures, which this is on a ball hinge, so you can hinge it. But I mean, the knee joint looks great, so you really don't have to hide it too much. And they missed some red paint there, so that does suck. And then we do get like a calf joint here, or a lower leg joint. I believe it's on a ball peg, because you can move it all around, and it can swivel as well. I do like that joint right there. And then the ankles here, they do swivel, as you can see, and it's just like the shoulder joint. So we have a ball hinge that connects into the leg, and then a ball peg that connects into the foot right there. So it does swivel, hinges up a great amount, hinges down pretty good, and then you do get a fantastic ankle pivot right there, and then a nice toe hinge as well. So overall, this Iron Man has some fantastic articulation, which is to be expected when it comes to the amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech line, and you're going to be able to get him in any type of Iron Man like poses, and I'm about to show you some of them right about now. And wow, showing off the articulation was over 5 minutes and going on 6 minutes, so I better shut up and show you the pictures that you can get him into with the awesome poses. But anyway, that is my review of the Revoltech amazing Yamaguchi bleeding edge armor Iron Man. Hope you enjoyed it. If I had to rate this figure between a 1 through 10, I'd definitely have to give it an 8.5. If you would like to know the price and where to buy this figure, I did get mine from Agelessgeeks, so you can head over to their website at agelessgeeks.com. If you can't find it on there, I do highly recommend going through their Instagram or their Facebook page. I will put more information in the description below. And if you would like to support the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click on that notification bell. And if you liked it, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, oh well, I guess you didn't like it. But thanks for watching. I will see you later. We do get a cool comic book image of some of the This is Iron Man on the top. We get an awesome comic book image on the bottom, and whoops, my entire backdrop came down. You bastard. A dope comic book image on the bottom. Damn it, it did it again. You stupid thing. So now for the awesome, fun stuff. So so we do get damn it. And then we do get 4 of the larger. Damn it, I dropped the one that I was about to show you. Son of a bee.